Hi there. In a world where nothing is certain, that means anything is possible, right? If you want to fulfill your dreams and desires, you are in the right place. You absolutely can have a life of happiness. Everyone deserves an abundance of love, laughter, success, health, and wealth. I'm Tara Chadzakis, and you're listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. The show that brings you meditation, mindset, and motivation. So start by giving yourself permission to be awesome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi there and welcome to this week's episode of Happy, Inspired, Motivated. So today I am joined by the amazing Dani B. So her name is actually Dani Wallace, but I call her the Queen Bee. And, well, she is the Queen Bee and I call her Dani B. I got a bit confused then. So Dani is the host of the Show Up, Wise Up and Rise Up Facebook TV show, which I've actually been a guest on, and she is phenomenal. She hosts the show every single day of the week and has done for the past 12 months, I think. So it's really cool. Behind the scenes, Dani is a former self-saboteur, and she grew up in the council estates of Preston. So she's had quite a normal upbringing. And Dani survived lots of domestic abuse. She's survived homelessness. She was a single parent at one point, and she's become to be a leading voice in empowerment. And she's gone on to become one of the most exciting motivational speakers to hit the UK stage in a long time. Now, Dani uses her knowledge from the corporate sector, her self-employment role, and also her entertainment skills to help people deliver memorable, inspirational, and thought-provoking talks. Her world-class courses, masterminds, and VIP experiences help people all over the world, from novices to celebrities and enthusiastic amateurs, even to seven-figure earners, to create incredible talks that help them stand powerfully on stage, reaching more of their ideal client and making more money. And who doesn't want that? So she is the fearless leader of the I Am the Queen Bee movement, so IATQB movement, and the author of the creator of the Fly Anywhere Foundation. Dani helps people all over the world show up, wise up and rise up, and she's a reminder to anyone who enters her orbit that they can fly anyway. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Dani. Good morning.
I was here. I was like, it's not letting me in.
Sorry.
It's all right. Hello, Angel.
You're all right.
That's all right. It's all right. A queen is never late. Everybody else is early.
That's true. That's true. I was waiting patiently for you, my darling.
Are you all right, my sweetness?
I am. I'm so excited to have you. Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, I call you Dani B because you're Queen Bee. I was on live this morning. I was like, I've got Dani B on the show later. And I was like, actually, no, she's not called Dani B. Sorry, everybody.
I love it. Oh, well, I'm made up that you have me, that you think me an appropriate person for your audience. I'm very excited. Tara Chadzakis, hello.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Well, welcome to my show. I've been on yours, since you're on mine now.
I know, and I'm thrilled. Thank you so much.
Oh, I loved it. It was great. I did miss you though, but I know you were really busy. But
I know. Last week was insane, but yeah. How lucky am I that the show gets to go ahead still. There's so many incredible people that have kind of come through the ranks of working with me that I could just trust and allow them to take the helm. So I know you was in very safe hands.
Yes, I was talking to Yvonne, and I know Yvonne anyway, which is really cool. So it was good. It was good. So, my darling, I'd like to know, or my listeners would like to know, a little bit more about you and your background to start with. Let's see where you came from. Preston.
Well, from the council estates of Preston, no less. So, yeah, that's where I grew up, in the northwest of the UK. And where I grew up was not an affluent, it wasn't an affluent community. We were definitely not an affluent family. And there was lots of love within the community, but also there was lots of chaos. And that's kind of where I grew up. And that informed, I guess, a lot of the things that I did a little bit later on, a lot of the choices that I made, because that's what happens, isn't it, Tara? That we
Yeah.
are, as kids, as babies, as infants, toddlers, teenagers, we're these sponges for the people around us. And not in like the sponging off me sense. I mean, like, we
Could be.
absorb. I'm sure my mum would like agree. But yeah, in really the sense that we absorb the energy from the people around us, we absorb the stories from the people around us. That very, very much what happened as I was growing up.
Yeah. And I mean, you went into singing. You were on, was it The Voice you went on audition for?
Yeah, I mean, I've been auditioning for reality TV since, oh my gosh. So I don't know if you can remember, as far back, we had Pop Stars in the UK. It's one of the first kind of, I think, Simon Cowell ventures.
Oh, I don't remember that, but okay.
Oh, it was so we're probably talking now around sort of 1999, 2000, 2001. So kind of going back as far as sort of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When I first started to audition for things like reality TV show, because the thing is, people from where I come from don't go on to become successful, or they don't go on, certainly don't go on to become like famous singers or things like that.
Yeah.
And the only way in would be that I could see, because my parents couldn't afford to send me to stage school. I would have loved to have gone, but we weren't able to afford to go to stage school. So the only way in for me would be to go and audition, to go to these massive big open auditions. People go and stay over. The X Factor came, you'd sleep like outside waiting for your shot to sing in front of Simon Cowell. And actually in 2014, I was scouted for The Voice. And yeah, so I had this whole experience where I was up and down from Preston to London, lots of interviews. They kind of put you through psychotherapy tests to make sure that you're mentally strong enough to be able to be a part of a show like that. And I got to sing, I got to sing for Tom Jones, Will.i.am, Ricky Wilson from The Killers, and it was Rita Ora's year. But they didn't show me those.
Oh no! Oh my God.
So I had this big break. My big Bruce was it, my big break. And then actually they'd already filled all their spaces, and they were kind of waiting. I think everyone gets an opportunity to sing whether they filled all their spaces or not. And I think they were really waiting for that Jay Hudson moment, which me as a singer, I'm never going to really give. I'm not that kind of big of a singer. I'm much more jazz, soulful. So yeah, I had some great feedback. Tom Jones was like, "I got no criticism for your love." That's a terrible Welsh accent.
Probably better than mine, love.
Rita Ora was like, "Do you know what? You sound like you're a seasoned singer. I probably wouldn't really know what to do with you." Ricky Wilson was like, "I didn't like the song," and that wasn't my song choice. The production team are very sort of heavily involved with your direction. And Will.i.am was really complimentary and really lovely, and turned around, and I'm stoically crying, like really upset. That was my big shot. I'd blown it, Tara. No one had turned around for me. But he was like, 4 people today out of 7.5 billion people didn't turn around. Just 4 people. And just because you've got 4 no's in effect today, does that mean that you can no longer go and seek yeses? You obviously have a gift. Who are you to stop right now? Who are you to stop going forward with your gift? And
nice.
that it was a real pivotal moment for me, where I realized that I do have a gift, and if I was to stop, and I would have been quite it would have been quite easy for me to stop in that moment, but actually it was a catalyst. I mean, I took to my bed for a few days after.
Oh, I bet you did. Oh no, that's really sad. Oh, you weren't even on the TV.
I was on the TV, blink and you miss me, for 10 seconds, if that, sat behind Kim Marsh and her daughter, who had entered that year. So they have this sort of holding area that's sort of set up and staged and orchestrated. It looks like a cafe, but it's not. It's just I was sat pretending to chat to somebody behind Kim. So I was on it, but blink and you miss me.
Oh. Well, I'm glad, actually, because you wouldn't have been... I probably wouldn't have met you if you'd have got on The Voice and you'd have been flying and touring the world. So what did you do after that? After you got back out your bed eventually, what did you do then?
So like you say, at the time I was devastated because for auditioning for so long and never really getting the opportunity to go all the way was really frustrating. I think when you work in show business anyway, when you work on the stage, you have to be resilient to quite a lot of rejection, and it felt like it was the one rejection too far. So I stopped auditioning for things after that. I was like, oh, do you know what, I'm just going to concentrate on my singing, and concentrate. I had this like kind of space in the week where I wasn't gigging anywhere, and I would gig from Thursday to Monday, but I was kind of work time in the week that I wasn't filling with anything really fulfilling. And I decided that I was gonna, because I built up, successful business within self-employment, I'd had a successful business within network marketing, I'd had a successful corporate career, that I was actually, all of the things that I'd learned from all of those three spaces, I could really bring to the small business area, that really bring a lot of expertise. I was a trainer for many, many years within learning and development for some huge global companies. I was having 20 years stage experience as a compere, not just a singer. Speaking was really something that I wanted to do. And so I decided that I'd got myself into a stable position after things being quite tenuous for quite a few years. I'm sure we'll talk about that today. That I really wanted to give back, and I created the I Am the Queen Bee movement off of the back of that. The idea that bees don't care what humans think is impossible with regards to flying. They fly anyway. Like aerodynamically, bees should not be able to fly from a science point of view. It's little wings, got tiny little wings and a big fat body. But the bee, has found a way to evolve and has found a way to fly, and doesn't care about the fact that humans go, well, bee, you shouldn't be able to fly, really. Bees like, I'm flying, I'm sailing.
Yeah, screw you, I'm flying anyway.
Exactly that. And I thought, well, if I could create a community based on that thought, then we're sat on something really powerful. Bees do lots of really cool things. Like when they're building something new, they do what's called festooning, where they link arms with each other to show the other bees where to build. That's a really cool concept in my mind. They do this other thing called a waggle dance, where they go and find the good flowers that have got the good pollen and the good nectar in. Then they come back and tell the other bees where, via the medium of dance, where the good stuff is. And I think if more of us did that in business,
I'm dancing.
Via medium of dance, dancing. Of course, right?
You've got to be dance.
But if we did more of that sharing of the abundance, there is success and space for everybody at the table. If we did more of that, more of us would be stronger, happy, healthier, have better businesses, have more abundant lives. And I just love the concept of this, like waggle dancing and festooning our way to abundance and health and wealth and all of those dead good things that we're entitled to. We've just got to be more tenacious about finding it if we've not been born into it.
Yeah, and like you say, a lot of we women love to support each other. They love to be there for each other and help each other. And sometimes we get sort of sucked into I've got to be in competition because we're all in business, and it's and you get told that, or you can't be friends with another business owner, especially in the same niche. My God.
Oh gosh, don't share your expertise.
No. Exactly. It's
7.5 billion people in the world. I can't service all of them.
Oh, there's not enough. There's not enough to go around. Sorry. It is crazy, but like you say, when you're working together, you build so much more, and it's so much more powerful, and that is really cool. Yeah.
And when we all do well, we all do well. So I'm a public speaking coach. Predominantly, it's kind of my job. And what I do is I help particularly women in business, although like I'm an inclusive brand and I work with men and people that are non-binary and trans people and members of the LGBTQ community, but I help them articulate their business and their mission message so that they can reach more people, make more money. I can't do that all on my own because I'm not for everybody. So I need to know other speaker coaches that are out there for when I'm not right for somebody to say, hey, go and see my girl Helen Packham, go and see my girl Hilary Dunn, go and see the people in my circle who are incredible, phenomenal people. I might not be right for you, but I know some absolutely kick-ass people. I might be oversubscribed. So then what? I don't want that person to not be helped. So then I've got to have people that are in my back pocket who do the same thing as me, who I can really strongly recommend. And I think that there should be more of that, please.
Yes, most definitely. More festooning and waggle dancing.
Riot.
Definitely. Now, I know you went through, so you've had this great corporate career, but there was a period in your life when things were a little bit not quite as what do I say? How do I put it politely?
Yeah, there was this whole like a duality, I guess, that in my career I was doing really well and I sought a lot of validation from, you know, my success within my career. And I had these incredible jobs and they took me all over the world, and you know, they took me up and down the country and meeting incredible people and doing incredible things. But underneath, my personal life really was in tatters, I guess, because you know, I was saying earlier in the conversation, a lot of the way that I grew up, my perception of how women should be treated within relationships, how alcohol is involved in people's lives, all of these things really influenced how my self-worth and what I felt for myself and what my boundaries were. And I found myself in a position where at first, I just wanted somebody to love me. I just wanted, there was a husband-shaped hole that I had created because I was told, you know, you get a job, get a husband and have babies, buy a house, have a career, do the right thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've been traveling all over the world, sort of, I guess, kind of escaping the chaos of how I grew up. My dad was a very, very heavy drinker. There was lots of domestic abuse, sort of generationally, you know, aunties, uncles, grandmas, granddads, like everyone, that you know, women were not treated or respected or revered at all within my community or within my family, even though the matriarchs within our family were the glue that held us all together. The men did not in any way, shape or form. It makes me sad sometimes when I think about my childhood, and there were no good men. And I know, and lots of people out there will be blessed and pleased. Like I love men. I married one, you know, and I'm in love with a man. But however, there were no good male role models as we were growing up, and I just desperately wanted to be loved, and I sought my validation by my relationship. So I needed to be in a relationship. So I traveled all around the world and came back to the UK, got into a relationship, and bless, this guy was not ready. I completely railroaded him into, you know, we were getting married, we had a baby, we bought a house, and gosh, he was young and he wasn't ready. He woke up one morning a couple of weeks after we sent out the invites to my wedding. Bless him, it wasn't our wedding. Oh, God love him. And he just woke up and he went, Dani, I don't want any of this. I feel railroaded. I don't want any of this. And I was so trying to control my happiness. And he left. And, you know, he didn't want what I had like kind of pressured him into. And rightly so. You know, it wasn't the life for him. It still isn't the life for him. But we never really saw him again after that. So he left. And you can imagine that left me feeling really vulnerable. And actually, when you are feeling vulnerable, whether the only way I knew relationships to work is if they were dysfunctional. I didn't know how a functional relationship worked, and very quickly got into another relationship, and that relationship turned abusive and later on quite violent, and so we needed the courts to kind of untangle ourselves from each other, but then I was left in a position where I had 2 children under the age of 3, and because I was a single parent trying to work, and my career was the only thing that I was doing okay at, I couldn't come out of work, because then what would I have? So I was having to spend every single penny that I had keeping my kids in nursery so that I could work, which created poverty for us. So I had this great job and we were going to food banks. I had this great job and we were homeless eventually, and we were sofa surfing, and it was a really horrific time where I just felt like I just couldn't get anything right for my kids. And I was tucking him into bed one night and I was like, oh, I don't think I wanted to die, Tara, but I didn't know how to live. I think that was probably the best way to put it. It was like, I was going down to London with work, and I was staying at my mum's, and took my kids into bed, and I was going to drive down through the night and then work in the morning, because that was the only way I could do things. And I remember crying in the car and just thinking, gosh, how have I got here? How do I even stop to begin to take responsibility? But that was the decision that I had to make that night, is that either life is going to continue happening to me and I'm dodging bullets here like the Matrix, or I need to start to control or at least take responsibility for the decisions that we're making. And that's what I started to do from that point on.
Wow.
That's a lot.
I'm speechless. That's unusual for me. It is. Wow. I mean, God, I can't imagine being that low. That's sad. But it's you can't go any further down, can you?
It was sad. And yes, I was in a vulnerable position, and yes, it was exhausting and all of those things. But I look back on that person there, or past Dani. And I think, gosh, she was really actually super strong. Like, what a tenacious person that she managed to survive all of that. That was a lot. There was a lot to come through, a lot to get through, and a lot to survive. And wow, she got to that point where, I made that decision to start to take responsibility, to realize that my reactions and my actions were going to dictate my outcome. And what a phenomenal decision to have made. And all my life, I'd sought this external validation. And I'd been to this event one time, and there was this like kind of guru type there. She was doing a meditation, and she had us all shut our eyes, Tara, and imagine that we were meeting our future self, and our future self had this box, and this box was a gift, and the gift was everything. The future you was living the life that you could see for yourself. You were living in your dream home. You're surrounded by people that loved you. You'd created all the success. And the gift that future you or future me had in her hand was everything that I had given her. And she was so grateful for the gift that I'd given her. And the gift that I'd given her was everything that I was doing in the run up to creating this life that she ended up with. And then I realized that the validation didn't need to come from myself. If future me loves me and is grateful for me, and present me absolutely adores and is so grateful for that girl sat in the car crying, then right now I don't need validation from anybody else, because I know already that everything I'm doing for past me and future me and me now. And it's a really powerful concept when you start to get your head around that sort of stuff.
It is, yeah. Like, see, you're validating yourself and loving yourself. It's very difficult, but it's so important. When you do that, you don't need other things to help you. And it's not just validation. It's alcohol to numb the pain of not loving yourself, or it's overeating to numb the pain of not doing that, or
right.
And that can turn into self-harm and all sorts of different things. And that's really, and it is about loving yourself that's the whole point, isn't it?
The question I get asked all the time, Tara, is how do you love yourself the way that you do? How are you so okay with yourself? And it isn't actually now me. It's not the gift that you can give yourself in the present. So I love everything about the decisions I've made so far and the person that made those decisions. So when we go, I find it hard to love myself. I find it hard, how do I do that in the moment? Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's understanding that you are able to reach back to the person who you've been and really love them, and you could take solace in the moment that future you is going to love you as viciously and as viscerally as I love any of my kids. I could cry that I can't go and hug her. I could cry that I can't go and shake her, but I absolutely desperately love past me. And that isn't, applying self-love in the present sometimes is a difficult concept to get your head around. But when you realize that through the whole timeline it's you, when you get that, it's much easier to go, do you know what, I know future me is going to love the bejesus out of me because I love past me so much that I'm okay. Everything's okay. I'm loved. I'm safe. And that's a really, like I said, a really cool, eye-opening concept. That when I started to apply, the confidence that people see from me being an extrovert turned into this knowledge and acceptance of myself. And I think that's a really important skill.
It is, yeah. And your future self is already living in the house that's being built for you.
Yeah, right now. Like, I'm moving next week, but future me, she's already there. She's decorated it and everything. It looks beautiful. I'm grateful to her for doing
that. To put the kettle on for you.
For sure. Like, I'm coming. I'm on my way, babes.
Just take your mug and she'll be ready for you, waiting for you. It's going to be great.
She is. She's there already. And, and I know that, again, it's knowing that. Like, I didn't know how I was going to make the house that I'm living in now, for the context, for the people that are listening, is the house that I had to move into when I was homeless. And it's taken us all this time to build ourselves up. And I said, whenever I moved, I wanted to move into my dream house. I didn't want to move again until I was moving into my forever home. And we've really grafted to make it happen. And next week, so as people are listening to this, I get like, we complete next week, we're in the middle of March. Which is just so exciting. But I remember being stood in the house last year in the show home and saying to my husband, I have no idea how we're making this happen, but we are making this happen. I can see us in here. Future me was already in there brewing up, Tara.
I'm sure she was. Laid on the bed like a queen bee.
Absolutely. On a Super King telly bed.
Yeah.
Which we then ordered.
Oh my God. Well, you see, yeah, she's putting those ideas in your head already, isn't she?
Right,
cool.
right.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you now are helping women here. You help people with public speaking. You help them feel brave and be seen. And you've got the Be Heard movement.
There's So there's lots of things that we do. There's bees in everything. We've got so one of the things, and I wrote a couple of books. So first book that I wrote was a really small book called Closed Mouths Don't Get Fed. And that's about like an introduction, a little book of introduction to public speaking. But the story that was really burning me up is that for so long, I was a self-saboteur. I was the person that was responsible for all of my outcomes. And I remain the person that's responsible for all of my outcomes. But because I was completely unself-aware of what my self-sabotaging behaviors were, and these are behaviors that keep us safe, things like fear, things like shame, things like anger, all these things actually, generate behaviors. And it's all about your brain trying to keep you safe in its own little tin pot way. And actually, I started to realize what those behaviors were. So I could start to really strip back how I got in my own way. And that was really the catalyst to create, what I've created now. I have an audience of thousands. I've got, a really successful morning show on Facebook. I've got, multiple 6-figure business. I've got courses that sell out, events that sell out. And this is all because I got out my own way. So I thought, well, as soon as I was able to understand and document what success was for me, and how to overcome that adversity, I wanted to reach my hand back and help anybody else that was feeling the same way. So I wrote my big book, which is a number one bestseller in multiple categories on Amazon. I feel so weird when I say that. Called I Am the Queen Bee, How I Overcame Self-Sabotage to Fly Anyway. And we attached a program onto that called Move Bee, Get Out of the Way, because getting out of your own way is one of the things that you need to do in order to reach more people. You've got to not hide. Yeah. So how do we learn to not hide? So we've got public speaking courses, and I have like a small incubator for businesses called the Overnight Success Program, which has nothing to do with being an overnight success. It's very tongue-in-cheek, and the idea is that nobody's an overnight success. You've got to plan what it is that you're doing. And then we've got Move Big, Get Out of the Way, which is our sort of overcoming self-sabotage happening, I guess. I hate the word course for that, because it's much more than turning up and learning every week. It's very, very, very interactive, much like mastermindy, happening-y type of thing.
Ooh, I actually didn't know you had overnight success. I've got an overnight success program too.
Have you? Amazing. See, we're aligned. We need more of it. And the overnight success, there's no such thing, right, Tara?
No, build it day by day, overnight success.
100%. That's it. Exactly. Incremental changes do create overnight successes. I love that you have that. That's why we're friends. Like, we're just like super aligned. It must be.
God. And you've got your event soon. I have my ticket for that already. Woo!
Oh, Tara, I'm so excited.
She was live, but okay. Live next time.
I am doing the next best thing, Tara. So every 6 months, I have an in real life event called Be Inspired. It's celebration, motivation, inspiration. Some of the most amazing speakers speaking on everything from business to personal development, parenthood, spirituality, everything in between. But we weren't able to do it in real life in September, and we're not able to do it in real life when we wanted to in February. So in April. On April the 22nd and 23rd, what I'm doing is I'm taking those speakers to a COVID-secure TV studio and presenting this event in a way that I guess our community really hasn't seen before. So we've had lots of summits, haven't we, in the last 12 months? Lots of incredible events where, lots of experts who have been sharing their knowledge, helping people remain buoyant and all of that during COVID times. this really, I feel like, bridges the gap between those summits that people do, like we're doing now, I guess, from our living rooms or bedrooms, and really taking it back into the entertainment event space. And even though we can't kind of be in the room together, it's creating that atmosphere again and getting excited about getting in a room together with each other. So yeah, it's the 22nd and 23rd of April.
I bought my ticket straight as soon as it came out. I didn't even know it was going to be through like a TV studio. That's amazing. I thought it was going to be like this, like Zoom.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Oh my God.
Taking the speakers to a TV studio. We've got pyrotechnics. We've got entertainment. It's all going. It's going to be an incredible 2 days, and it's an.
Can I come along and dance? Can I just come along and dance in the background, please?
We'll be all on the Zoom, and we can Zoom people in as well, which is fantastic. So we'll have. So we've got international speakers as well that aren't able to fly over because of the restrictions. So we've got speakers that are zooming in from Amsterdam, from Lanzarote, from Puerto Rico, and also then of course we've got our speakers in the studio as well. So it's going to be incredible. I'm very excited.
So yeah, that is exciting. Like I said, I got my ticket and I was just like, oh, I have to be there. But when it's live, that's going to be even better.
It is, absolutely. And of course, because you have a ticket, Tara, you've got a link. So if any of your your listeners want to grab themselves a ticket, do share your link. And people can buy, tickets directly from you even, which is amazing.
It is. Yeah, that's really exciting. So you've got some pretty phenomenal things that are happening and in the works, and yeah, you're definitely growing and building and getting your hive. Your hive is definitely on the rise. Your hive's on the rise.
The rise of the hive. That's what's happening right now. Yeah, the IATQB hive is my free community. It's really my safe space. I just wanted somewhere where I could share successes and share challenges and have that be a really safe kind of non-selly space for people to network, to know each other, to do a shout out. Say, for example, somebody needs a painter and decorator. They can say, hey, does anybody know a painter and decorator in a particular area? Or I'm having this legal challenge. Have we got any legal eagles in here? So in the hive, we've got people that are just starting out in business. And we've also got multiple 7-figure earners, radio presenters, media pop stars. We've got all sorts of people in the hive that are all in that space of sharing their successes and their challenges. It's a really cool space.
It is. I was on you did a challenge a couple of weeks ago and I was on that as well. That was really cool. I enjoyed that, and just being in there was so nice every day, just chatting with people and connecting, and the vibe was good as well. It felt really nice, and it just feels safe in your hive. So
it's where the best business is done, from a really strong relationship space of trust, of safety. Often, you can kind of go into networking spaces and feel like it's cliquey. You can feel like it's a bit spammy. You feel like, oh God, I'm going to get sold to left, right, and centre. Where actually it's a really cool space for people to go in and just go ask. It's like a hive mind. Hey, I don't know this thing. Does anybody know? And everyone's like, yeah. Girl, I got you.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what new and exciting things are coming up for Dani B this year?
So obviously Be Inspired is they're going to like the jewel in the crown of everything that's happening, certainly for this section of the year. So that's all of my focus is going on that, and we'll be opening the doors up to work with me directly after that as well. So for Be Inspired, they're people that have come through my masterminds, people that I've trained, people that I've coached to be incredible speakers. Yeah. So we'll be opening the doors to that, and then I'm doing some TV work this year. I can't tell you too much because I've had to sign lots of non-disclosure agreements. Okay. But I will be featuring in a TV show on Amazon Prime early next year. I've got to go over to Miami in June to go and film that. And there's a couple of people from our circle that are also involved. So we've got the incredible Lisa Johnson from Lisa Johnson Coaching, and also the glorious Joe Swan from Chocolate PR is going to be involved as well. So we are going to be going over to Miami in June to go and film that, and I can tell you more as the months go on, but at the moment that's all so I'm allowed to say.
Oh, I'm well intrigued now. I'm like, I've just sat there like, come on, tell me more.
Whatever next is the thing.
Who would have thought when you were sofa surfing you'd be getting flown to Miami to be on a TV show?
Precisely that, or indeed like some of the other things that I do. So if that's not enough, we've also got the Fly Anyway Foundation, which is the foundation that I set up, a charitable foundation to assist survivors of domestic abuse build businesses. So one of the things that I struggled with was creating independence after, standing on my own 2 feet financially from a confidence point of view. And I had some great business ideas. I was an astute businesswoman then, as I am now, but I just needed access to business services and, website development and things like that. So what we've done is we've got a whole raft of fabulous ambassadors, web developers, brand designers, business strategists, mindset coaches, that people, survivors of domestic abuse, if they've got a business idea, they can come and apply to the foundation and we can get them like a team of support to help them get set up.
I actually applied to be an ambassador yesterday for that.
Fantastic. Oh, that's so exciting.
I did. I thought, actually, yeah, I'd love to be able to do that if I can. If you'll have me, I'm here for you anytime, darling.
I love that, Tara. I can't wait to add you to our raft of ambassadors. Ready. We'll be taking on our first business builders from May this year. So again, that's another exciting thing that we're doing.
That's absolutely phenomenal. So you have created, I don't know what the adjective would be, but it's freaking awesome anyway. That way.
It's all right.
It's not bad, is it? Not bad for a lass from Preston. Even though
not at all.
You're from Lancashire and I'm from Yorkshire, so really.
You're wrong colour rose, babes.
You're on the wrong colour, darling. Sorry. You were from Yorkshire. My dad always said either there's 2 types of people from Yorkshire and people who wish they were from Yorkshire.
I have got heritage in Yorkshire and I'm very, very fond of Yorkshire, the Yorkshire lot.
Yeah, my dad's a real broad Yorkshire bloke. And my accent comes out a bit more when I'm speaking to him. But,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. And if my audience want to get in touch with you, they can find you on Facebook at the
Queen Bee Dani. It is across all of the socials. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram particularly, we're going for Operation Swipe Up right now. On my morning show, the show at Rise Up show. What I would love to do is the people that come on, I want to be able to drive traffic to their stuff. So having the swipe up function on Instagram is going to be really helpful for that. So we are currently growing our audience over on Instagram. So if you don't follow me already, go and follow me at the Queen Bee Dani and go and give us some love over there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put links in here as well so people can find you. Well, thank you so much. I am well excited that you joined me today. I'm so, and we have to have you back on again so we can tell us all about Miami and the other 6 months. So maybe next year you can tell us what you did and you can show some love back to the old Dani from now.
Absolutely. I am here for her and I'm here for you as well. Thank you so much for having me, Tara.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for joining us on the show today. If you enjoyed that episode with Dani B, please don't forget to subscribe, rate and review. Your ratings and your reviews help us get seen by more people so we can make a bigger impact in the world. I'm also going to leave a link to Dani's event in the show notes because it's coming up on the 22nd of April, so 22nd and 23rd, and it's going to be a live event with her and her speakers in a TV studio in Manchester. So it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. She said there's going to be fireworks and all sorts of crazy things, entertainment, you name it, it's going to be there. So it's an event not to be missed. It's not an expensive event to get a ticket for. And the lineup is absolutely amazing. As I said, I'm going to be there so you can wave at me if you're on there with me at Zoom. So I'll leave the link for you and you can check it out. Until we speak again, I'm sending you lots and lots of amazing love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you for listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. I'll be back next week bringing more meditation, mindset, and motivation for your happy and successful life. To find out more about our community, go to tarachatzakis.com/happy inspired motivated.